Kennedy reporting live for Punkrockeracy Radio. Well, I'm here with Tommy Niemeyer.
Hello.
And John Dahlin.
Aloha.
Of The Accused. Original singer. We're here at Tony V's where you guys are about to pop the cherry. Are you guys playing the songs from the Murder in Montana?
Yes, that's the main
Right,
goal.
so
Yeah.
they're going to pop the cherry on the 1983 set that John did when this band originally started out all those years ago. Tommy, let me tell you a little bit about my show. What I do is a historic perspective on regional music. So I interview a lot of the ones that I can find that didn't make $1 million and are still alive. So like I've got, just a lot of great ones. I just interviewed Chris Hanzik. I've interviewed Art Gillette. Just interviewed Jake Huber and Steve Broyd last night, and I'm interviewing Zana La Fuente and all these other people.
Wow, those are all names that I know and
I interviewed Jim Bass Night.
Very cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
Wow. Dave.
Right.
And of course, I've interviewed Dave.
Right. Yeah. Good.
And
he's a good go-to guy for any of that.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Cool.
So, like for me, what I'm interested in for the show is kind of the history of the bands that you were in, and then I'll go and we'll ask each of the guys that you're in. Kind of like in your case, I guess, up to Grunt Truck, really. What I mean? Yeah, and how it all started, and who you went to high school with, and the kind of the clubs that you used to like, if you went.
Okay, all right, sure. Well, we started as The Accused. That was the first band, that I was in. Well, kinda. Although, if you want to go way back, I go to Oxnard. I got Oxnard roots.
All right.
So we can't forget the old pre-Nardcore even. They
That's
weren't
really
even calling
important.
it Nardcore. Yeah, it is pretty important. Dave Casillas, who ended up being in Stalag 13. He was in, I think, Dr. No for a while, MIA. Dave Casillas and I were friends down in Oxnard, and that's where I met Chewy, actually. It was in Oxnard. So that's kind of the very nucleus of what I came from, punk rock-wise, music-wise, was that scene. I moved up to Washington in '81. It just so happened Chewy moved up right before I did. So when I got up here, he was on the same island as I, and lo and behold, he had found a drummer in the meantime, and that was Dana. So when the three of us got together, we started The Accused.
Now, for the fans, who's Chewy?
Chewy was our original bass player, Chabon Batterman. Excellent guy, great bass player, very dearly missed. He passed away several years ago, and
Rest in peace.
his essence is hopefully remembered through this stuff, and brought back to some sort of a status of what his mark was in all of this, in what built the foundation that The Accused are now still riding on,
Right, and so the Oxnard roots. So you really were a punk band.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Played a couple different shows down there under different names before I came up here, and but this is where it started really kicking into gear once we got up here, of course. And then John came on board in '82. John came on board. Dana had met him in Hawaii on a family vacation, and John was in a punk rock band over there. I'll let him tell the rest of that story when it's his turn or whatever.
That's funny. I lived in Hawaii from '85 to '88. I rolled with the the Hawaii chapter of Sharp. I was right alongside of the anti-racist skinheads over there. Hung out at the Pink Cadillac Wave parking lot there. Oh yeah. I worked on the Constitution and the Independence cruise ships, and so I was over there. That's where I learned to slam dance and everything. I was going to shows there. I would come back from Alaska, and in Alaska, your records were there. We had your cassettes. I'm from Juneau, Alaska, and there was a guy named Robert Cohen, and he had this place called Capitol Records. And dude, he had everything. Like even back then, he had a punk row and a metal row, and he would order. I think it's literally was ordering stuff from Dave, dude. You know what I mean? But it's just amazing because you know, when I moved my punk band Induced Vomit down here in '91, and it really hit me that you guys were actually from Seattle because I rolled into the OK Hotel and it was like, you know, look, I moved a splatter band here in '91. We came here to destroy grunge.
Right.
And our favorite bands were Septic Death, Cryptic Slaughter, The Accused,
Excellent.
DRI.
Excellent.
You know what I mean? So for me, seeing you at the OK Hotel back then was like, you know what I mean? I was shitting my drawers and I would see sweaty nipples and. I think I saw you with a couple of different drummers then because I think you got Devin over the course because I was this guy from '91 to '94 around then.
Yeah, I was Devin. Yeah, he was great too.
Yeah,
I love that guy.
There's a thing on the drums where you flam. It's where you hit the snare you hit it with both sticks. Yeah, one right after the other, and it kind of gets this clack sound. And I thought that was so like what was unique to you guys back then, and he really nailed that shit. I've seen a lot of different drummers play your songs over the years.
Right, cool. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, give Devin some props, man, because he doesn't get enough of them. Probably because, well, no, he was on the Splatter Rock record. But that record in of itself doesn't get a whole lot of attention. And that's a pretty good fucking record. The drumming on that is fucking incredible. I mean, he and I, we wrote that record in pretty much just he and I. Alex contributed a few riffs, but he and I sat and recorded that thing. It was so easy to write with that guy. I mean, he was a badass, and he was prolific, and he was always coming up with something original, you know, much like Josh did. But Devin had a looser kind of fucking, you never knew when he was going to go off the rails kind of thing, which was excellent. You know, it wasn't really refined and super predictable, which was pretty cool, because, you know, you like to throw curveballs at the Accused fans, you know, when they're listening to shit, you know, and he would give it out in spades, man. That guy was badass. Yeah, props to Devin, for sure. Anyways.
So many great guitarists. So many great guitarists just in your career. I was just saying,
thank you.
There's just a bunch of them.
Thank you.
I can't
even count them.
Woo! Yeah.
I'm just getting started.
So, you know, that comes up to, you know what I mean? So it's all pretty much the Accused for you because that was the we came from Oxnard and just went right into it. You know, got with him. And then, hey, but that Accused wasn't a grunge band. But did you take a little stab at grunge?
Well, I did, if you want to call it that, yes.
What happened there?
It was a rock band. It was a rock band. Grunge
Rock Candy.
Band. Yeah, they were a rock candy band, yeah. No, it was just a party band. I mean, we weren't even really a serious band, you know. But that goddamn Alice in Chains fucking liked us, and that fucking turned everything upside down. You know, then they wanted us to go on tour with them. We were like, fuck, really?
Oh,
now what do we do? Now we got to be a real band. We got to rehearse. We got to kind of sober up a little bit, you know, and become semi-serious. So, I mean,
weren't you guys like hanging out with the chicks from Heart back then? Didn't they start a band back around that? Didn't they have it was like War Babies or something?
Yeah. Those guys were. Jerry was hanging around them a lot. Cantrell. And he introduced me to whatever the big one is. Yeah. and I just was like,
Nancy has bigger hands though, so I'm not sure which one.
Right. And I said, "Nice to meet you, Miss Ann Hart chick." And she was like, "Oh, hi, yeah, you too." And I said, "We do a cover of your song Barracuda, and we just destroyed it. Sorry." And,
all right.
She just kind of looked at me like, who is this guy again? Jerry's like, anyway, yeah, that was, you know. And then he kind of whisks me away. He introduced me at that time.
Jerry made up for it when he got Gretchen Wilson out on the stage with those bitches and did that song at like American Music Awards or something years later.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, so
I was wondering because I don't really follow the bands. I was like, Alice in Chains has a black guy in the band now.
Right. Yeah, that's fucking badass.
There's some skips in my pop culture because I've done a little prison time and I was actually I took one of your songs serious and went out and became a bag lady for a while.
Oh, gotcha.
You know,
yeah.
I pushed a shopping cart down the alley in Eugene for a few years.
Oh, you did, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, wow.
Took some time off.
Yeah.
Playing the acoustic, you know.
Yeah.
So, I'm real good at the acoustic.
Yeah, wow. Well, good to see you here.
Right.
You know.
Now let's go on about you. Now let's hear about what bands you were in as a child and what where you came from.
Well, I'm basically from Vancouver, Washington, but I found myself in Hawaii in about '78 and went to high school there. And it was about 20 punks in about 1979, and we all hung out. The Wave Waikiki was hanging out in this. There was a band called the Squids that was the main band there, the house band, and so we all loved the Squids. And it's about 1980. I formed my first band, and we opened for the Squids a couple times there, and we just did some punk cover songs, Strychnine and stuff like that. We did the Black Flag version of Louie Louie, and
this will end up being on the radio. So I'm the Fancy Kennedy here, talking with John Dahlin, original singer for The Accused, about his days in Hawaii. Now, John, I moved there in '85, and I used to hang out with a guy named Stuart. He was a bass player. His band was called, I always get it mixed up with just Jesters of Chaos. I think this was called Disciples of Chaos. And then there was a punk band there called Broken Man, and another one called Mean Ugly Guys.
okay.
And they would play, I want to say Gusly L'Amours, and all these different places that were. So I was there a little bit later than you, but I was hanging out with the Harsh, which was Hawaii's anti-racist skinheads.
Right.
And I definitely, was right there at the Wave, pink Cadillac, that 7-Eleven right there.
Yep.
That was where my whole crew posted up. When I got there, I was a Slayer head. I was listening to Metallica, so I tried going to Jazz Bones.
Right.
And the metalheads there, I just couldn't click with them.
Yeah.
Dude, I dressed like Joe Elliott, but I was a black guy, so it would just look, I just looked out of place, But every time I would come back to Alaska, my friends would go, "Oh, now listen to this," and they'd be like, "Oh, it's DRI now. It's